Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar hosted by the Improvement Service and our Improving Outcomes in Money Advice project is the correct name. I said the wrong name before. My name is Christopher Bosen. I'm just here to keep the technical side working. With me here in this big room, I have Sandra Sankey, Johanna Eriksson, I have Diane Dunn and Hanif, sorry about that, and signing in over the phone, we have Bowie from Falkirk Council. I'm going to hand over to Sandra in a moment. Just want to let you know that we are running about 40 minutes of presentations, and after that we are running a Q&A session. Sadly, Diane can't stay here for the whole session, so if you have any questions for Diane, you feel free to write back to us at the IS and we'll pass them on to Diane. The Q&A session at the end, we're going to take written questions only. So if you have any questions during the webinar or any of the presentations, feel free to write them down and using the questions chat box on your panel. And I will pass them on to the panelists afterwards when we open up for Q&A. If there are any questions that we don't have time for or we can't answer at the moment, we'll get back to you on email afterwards. I think that's about it for me. We are recording the webinar, by the way, just to let you know. So I'll hand over to Sandra, who's going to do the first introduction.
Thank you, Christopher. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Sankey. I'm a project manager. I've been working on this Money Advice Outcomes project now for 5 years. I've had a look at the delegates registered for today, and we've got about 62 registered, so that's a really good number for the webinar, so thank you all. I'd just like to share with you that we've got a really good spread of local authority representation, Citizens Advice Bureau members, other third sector, health, housing associations, credit union, further education, and from other national organisations and a range of others. So quite a good mix. So thank you. At least I feel that we're having good coverage today. So the reason for me putting on this webinar through our project and contacts today is to just share some good practice with you and some experiences that have been happening last year that we've identified through the project, and share with you some approaches that are taken at a local level this year. In the project, I know many of you that are registered today will be familiar with the Money Advice Outcomes project, and I've added a link to the slides that will be available afterwards today. But I'm just really specifically talking about one of the work streams that we have in our project, which is linked to financial capability work stream today. We have been lucky enough to have our contract extended for a further year in the project, and this one work stream linked to financial capability will involve working with local authorities to produce some guidance. So looking at the local authority as an employer and how it supports its workforce, its employees around their whole financial well-being. So I'm doing a lot of that guidance is being drafted, and then I'll be looking to work with some local authorities to actually pilot that guidance and look at the different interventions and different areas and improvements that can be driven up there. By doing that as well, I'll also be identifying some, again, areas of good practice that's already happening with local authority employers and their wider partner organisations. And some of you listening today may even be involved with that or involved with similar practices within your own organisation. So I would welcome you sharing anything with me today. So watch out for that if you have any interest. And the other work stream within the financial capability work stream is actually supporting local authorities and wider organisations to participate in the themed week that we have in November. I should have mentioned that I am a member of the Scotland Financial Capability Steering Group. We have a forum, and again we can add links within this presentation to the forum and the national strategy that we have as well for improving financial capability. So I have just got there's some learning that's already been shared with you around some of the approaches taken and some case studies, I believe, that have been sent to you. So hopefully you've had a chance to get familiar with that, and there should be further material available after today as well. So I'm going to just hand over now to my colleague Johanna, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the approach coming up soon.
Thanks very much, Sandra. So I'm just briefly going to cover what was called FinCap Week last year, but that has now been rebranded to Talk Money Scotland Week. And this will take place between the 12th and 18th of November this year. And this week has been designed to help share learning between organisations around financial capability. And it's an opportunity to share any new insights, get together, organise events, etc. And there was a lot of good events happening last year. As you can see in the maps that I've inserted here in the slide, you can see what happened across the country, but also what happened specifically in Scotland. And hopefully we will see a bit more activity in the Scotland map this year. So to support you to do something during this theme week, there will be a participation pack that will be published later this month. But I've included here an image of what the pack looked like last year so you can get an idea. I've also included a link at the bottom of the slide there so you can sign up for any notifications, and so that you will get a notification when the pack has been published. So the pack involves a lot of resources that are really helpful. It helps you can use it to help plan any events, but it also gives you a lot of useful resources and templates that you can adapt to suit your organisation. There's, for example, a template letter for your MPs or a press release template, but there's also a lot of good practice and good examples from last year and what different organisations got involved with during FinCap last year. So how can you get involved? There's a lot of different ways to get involved. A lot of organisations get involved on social media, but you can also, like I mentioned previously, organise an event to get stakeholders to come together. You can also use the opportunity to maybe review what you're doing and what you might be able to do differently. But I also want to stress that this is part of our work plan this year, and we are here to support you. If you wanted to get involved at all, please don't hesitate to get in contact with either me and Sandra, and we can discuss, any support that we could provide or help with the planning of any event. There will also be an opportunity at the end of this webinar in the survey to leave your contact details if you would be interested in getting involved. So I think that's all I have to say about that, and I will now hand over to Diane. Dunn?
Hi everyone, I'm Diane Dunn from the... Sorry, get my slides back. Sorry, I'm Diane from the Partnerships and Inequalities team at Renfrewshire Council. And we're just having an issue with the slides here, so if you can bear with us for a moment, we'll get them back. Sorry, kick off again. So I'm Diane Dunn from the Partnerships and Inequalities team at Renfrewshire Council, as I said. And last year, I organised and facilitated some events for Financial Capability Week using some of the partnerships that we have in Renfrewshire. So I'm going to talk about 3 key partnerships we have that were involved in that work. We have our Advice Partnership, our Affordable Credit Group, and our Credit Union Forum. And these are the same partnerships that we're using again this year to focus on financial capability. These partnerships hold a wide range of stakeholders, so that allows us a wide range of opportunities to talk money in different ways. And although in 2017 I didn't get everything done that I wanted with regards to FinCap Week, I'll be aiming higher this year, getting some more things on the map. So I'll talk first about our Advice Partnership. Our Advice Partnership was set up in 2015. And since then, we have been meeting quarterly and we discuss issues affecting us. Our aim is to ensure that advice services in Renfrewshire are proactive, efficient, accessible and customer focused and effectively meet client need. We also hope that through working with each other more closely and sharing best practice and ideas the partnerships benefit the organisations involved. For example, we look at funding and pulling funding into Renfrewshire in a more strategic way, so we're not all chasing the same funding pots. The partnership is chaired by the council, but the membership is wide and includes, as you can see from the slide, our Citizens Advice Bureau, our own council advice works team, Rami Chura, a local mental health charity, our food bank, Connect for Renfrewshire, Engage Renfrewshire, who are our third sector interface, University, Health and Social Care Partnership, LEAP, for our local energy charity, our credit unions and our legal service as well. And the Advice Partnership Renfrewshire set up Advice Renfrewshire, which is a single front door to advice in Renfrewshire, which is a website and a free phone number as well, backing that up, where clients can be directed to the most appropriate advice for them. And you'll see the photos in the slide are really from the launch for Advice Renfrewshire. You'll see our logo and some of our advertising in a bus stop as well. We also have an affordable credit group, and we believe it's the only affordable credit group in Scotland other than the main Scottish group. This is chaired by our third sector interface, Engage, and it sits as part of our community planning partnership. We meet roughly quarterly, every 8 weeks or so, and we look at increasing access to and awareness of affordable credit options and try to steer people away from high-cost credit. We work together to support financial well-being and give support to open bank accounts, increase credit ratings and increase availability of low-cost credit options. We're made up of banks, credit unions, housing associations, Experian, advice agencies, our university. We also have some community groups involved, and the CDFI Scott Cash also come along to our meetings, and they operate in our area. So there's been a lot more focus on affordable credit recently, with Michael Sheen starting up the End High Cost Credit Alliance. And in Renfrewshire, we know people will go to the Bright Houses and the Perfect Homes as the easy option. So we want to get word out about the alternatives, not just credit unions, but organisations that Fair for You. And our photos show an affordable credit event that we had in March, where we brought practitioners along. That was to expand their knowledge of affordable credit options in Renfrewshire, so they could then take that back to their clients and pass that information on. We also have a credit union forum in Renfrewshire, where the 5 main credit unions that operate in Renfrewshire meet and discuss issues affecting them. The rate of credit union membership in Renfrewshire is 11% compared to a 7% Scottish average. And we have done a lot of work with credit unions in Renfrewshire to develop them and to increase membership. Renfrewshire Council put money into credit union development in late 2014, and part of that was used to develop our My Credit Union Renfrewshire that you can see from the logo on the slide there. This is our umbrella organisation, and we have a website, social media, and use that to promote our credit unions. We work with community organisations, housing associations, and really anyone whose clients could benefit from a credit union, and also schools, which I'll talk about in a minute. Anyway, the partnerships that we have probably made it a bit easier to arrange things like FinCap Week. And for Renfrewshire, the aim of our FinCap Week was to increase the knowledge of where citizens can go to get help with their finances. So in 2017, although I did have other ideas, the 3 that actually came off for Money Monday, we had our credit union film launch, and we also ran a social media campaign with a focus on Christmas and winter, since it's that time of year. So Money Monday was where money advisors from our Citizens Advice Bureau and our own council advice work service took over the council's social media for a morning to answer questions about money. So involving Twitter and Facebook and using the hashtag Money Monday, the money advisors sat with one of our comms team and were able to answer any questions that came in. Work had been done in social media really in about a fortnight before the event, and we also had an article in the local press with one of our councillors endorsing the event as well. You can see our wee digital postcard that was pulled together by our digital participation officer. I think the event itself could have done with a longer lead-in time, but we did get a few questions, and we did have 2 money advisors from different organisations meeting and speaking to each other and answering questions in partnership, which is quite nice. We also had our credit union film launch. So our credit unions had received money via our third sector interface to make a film to encourage credit union membership in children. So the film involved children from nursery age through to secondary school and beyond. They had kept some of the funding back to actually premiere the film, and the children involved were the first audience and came along to that premiere. So the film was actually completed a wee bit before FinCap Week, but I had asked if they would hold it back for FinCap Week and hold the premiere just to give it that extra focus. So the event was held in St Mirren Stadium and attracted press representation, APCO, elected members, community groups, all of our credit unions, and of course the children themselves. And you can see the two-page spread that we had in our local paper. And we know from research that some people see credit unions as being for older people or really for old people. So what we were trying to do was get the word out that credit unions are for everybody. And everybody posted, all the organisations involved posted on social media about the event too. And if you want to see that film, I can certainly pass the link on to Sandra, who could get that out to you if you're interested. So the third thing we did was run a social media campaign with our partners on Twitter and Facebook. So the council tweeted and posted using the hashtag, naming our partners in the posts, who then retweeted. With it being winter, we focused on Christmas costs and energy bills, including saving for next Christmas. We also plugged our Advice Renfrewshire service in all our posts, and we had our partner organisations tweeting too. So you can see from the slides, we've got Star Project, Roar for older adults from Renfrewshire, and also one of our credit unions ran a credit union myth-busting campaign throughout the week on social media too. So that was really what we managed to do in 2017. And I guess some of the lessons learned were really that I had planned to do more, that time ran away, so give yourself plenty of time. And to speak to the right person in the partner organisation. A lot of FinCap Week is run on social media, so I guess you need to have someone who understands social media, and that's not always the chief executive of an organisation, so it's really going to the right person at the right level and getting the right person involved in that. I would say that maybe it's just in Renfrewshire, but in most cases, no matter who's involved, as the council ends up kind of taking the lead and bringing other partners along. Now, I've already mentioned FinCap 18 to a couple of the partners. I'll need to change that now to Talk Money since it's changed its name. However, again, I'm pretty sure that although other people will get involved, it'll probably be me that ends up pushing it and me that ends up kind of organising and bringing things together. And I think you need to accept that. And there are exceptions to that. In the credit union film, I knew was happening, but that was all done entirely without me. It was only me at the end saying, can we use this for FinCap Week? Which was great that they agreed to do that. I think plan early and speak to your comms early. We didn't really speak to comms early enough last year, so we didn't have as much time to prepare and get a long run in for campaigns, and also obviously they've got their own priorities from all over the council, so just to give them a real kind of early notice of what's happening. You have lots of ideas, involve other organisations in developing your ideas. We did have more things. I had planned to do like an increase your credit rating roadshow, and that didn't come off, so I'm really hoping to do that this year. But the more ideas you have, the more you're likely to achieve. And as I've said, use things that were planned anyway. If you can kind of keep in the back of your mind things that are coming up and think, well, FinCap Week's coming up, so can I keep it for then and do that then? It saves you coming up with new ideas all the time. So planning for 2018, I've started mentioning FinCap Week to partners, so if we can get a good few things developed early, that'll be great. We've done a lot of work with partners in Renfrewshire and a lot to develop our partnerships. So it's good to know that we do have people that we can call on and we can see the benefit of things like FinCap Week. I would say last year was the first time I had done FinCap Week, so it was maybe fairly random. So this year I'm going to be looking at partners' priorities as well, which should result in a greater buy-in from them. Although Universal Credit goes live in Renfrewshire full rollout in September, so I'm assuming a lot of our messages will probably be around that. I say work with comms and marketing early so they can get that into their schedules and have time to get quotes from councillors and council involvement as well. And they also normally do have good ideas. And say, as I've mentioned before, if you've got something that would fit in, then why not try to plan it for FinCap week? So just, keep those ideas and use them during that week instead of using them earlier or later. And I think the final thing I would say is remember your own staff. Local authorities have large numbers of staff who could benefit from money advice and payroll deductions, and I know that's something we've kind of spoken about earlier, but you really do have a captive audience there. We did bring outside organisations into the Council for Challenge Poverty Week, but we didn't manage that for FinCap Week, but that's certainly something I would be looking to do this year. Your good organisations want to get their message across, so they'll be looking at every opportunity to work with you as well and to be involved. So that's really what we did last year, so I hope that gives you some food for thought for the 2018 FinCap Week. And that's me. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Do you have to scoot off right away, or are you staying for a few more presentations?
I'll stay for one more presentation, then I'll head off.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to be handing over to Nahid now, who is taking over, and I think the slides are going to be ready here.
Thank you for inviting me along. So just to give you a little bit of background how Money Week came about for West Lothian. What we have is our anti-poverty strategy, which is the West Lothian Community Planning Partnerships plan of how we intend to tackle poverty in West Lothian. It was developed in 2012, and the strategy aims to minimise the impact of poverty on the people in West Lothian. Its objective is to ensure that people are equipped to cope with the challenges they currently face and the impact that this has on their health, education and community involvement. So the priorities for the Council and its partners are to strengthen the ways in which we work together, ensure that actions and resources are more targeted, and where appropriate, pool resources to ensure that we're reaching those people that are most at risk of poverty. So the strategy is underpinned by an action plan, which all partners, community planning partners, report and contribute to. One of the actions within the action plan was to deliver financial inclusion activities throughout West Lothian to help increase financial capability and hopefully lift people out of poverty. So within the action plan, what we have is an action, an indicator and a target. So the action annually in each, every year, the action plan under the strategy was financial inclusion activities are delivered throughout West Lothian during Money Week, and Money Week typically was the second week in October. We wanted to keep to the same week in the same month every year so that people got used to it and started to recognise it was coming about, so that they could start planning to be involved. The indicator was the number of participants during Money Week, and we were recording the percentage of attendees who rate the event as good or excellent or follow up some of the advice or information that they were given during that week. And our target was to maintain or increase Money Week participation levels. So, as I've said before, Money Week has been delivered in West Lothian annually since 2012 to raise financial awareness and reach those people who might be affected most by poverty. To help us deliver Money Week, like Diane said, the Council ends up taking the lead, but there are quite a lot of partners involved within the delivery of it. So we had partners like Citizens Advice Bureau, Kids Eco, Access to Employment, food banks, school banks. All these partners were given toolkits as guidance to help them deliver events. So we put together handy tips so that they and how to publicise and how to get it into our programme, and if they needed any kind of help from us to help deliver that. Deliver their event. So that was quite welcomed by partners. That gave them some guidance and a starting point. some of the events, now bearing in mind that it's been running since 2012. When we first started, we had a range, we had a big programme with a range of events. So we were delivering through that week, we were delivering maybe 3 or 4 events. So throughout the week, we were maybe delivering about 30 or 40 events, and the events were varied, and some were about looking for employment, some were about saving, some were about accessing affordable credit, and so there was different types of events. But as Money Week developed and as we moved on, the feedback that we were getting for partners was having a targeted approach, having the week concentrate on, focus on something specific, and have it more streamlined, to allow it to reach a wider audience and allow more partners to get involved. So what we piloted then was we moved from the lots of different mini events in one day to having lesser events on the day but with a more focus. So one of the years we concentrated on food. We try to stay away from words like poverty or financial, to get more engagement from our West Lothian residents. So we called it Growing Your Own. So it was really concentrating on food. We had events advising people what they could do with leftover food, how to cook on a budget. We had food bank involvement. We spoke to our colleagues that look after allotments and tried to get people to think about growing your own, and eating healthily. And so that really worked, because what we saw there was a different range of partners wanting to be involved in that, because it was more what they do. It meant more for them. Another year we concentrated on family events, looking at help for families, and within that we incorporated kind of budgeting and shopping on a budget. So we looked at employability for families, just trying to get that whole financial situation for the family improved. So that came back from feedback from the partners and from people attending the events as well, that helped us shape our Money Week. So because it has been running for so long, it doesn't come without its own challenges. And the challenges that we mainly faced were because resources for everyone, council partners, are so tight. We were getting less commitment from partners. They couldn't commit to putting on as many events or being involved in as many events. Participation levels started to decrease as well. And when we asked people, travel seemed to be an issue, and as well as people felt that they were looking for something different and something new to try, as well, and because it'd been running for so long. So it kind of takes me on to the future plans. So what we're recognising all those issues, as well as publicity, that Diane's talked about. Publicity is definitely a challenge, because you're so involved in organising the event, trying to get everybody on board. One of the things that you leave to the last minute is your publicity, trying to let the wider community know about what you're organising and the aims of the events. So that was another challenge, trying to get it into the work plan for our corporate communications team. Again, for us, what a learning curve for us would be plan that early and make sure that you have it in your mind as you're moving forward about how you're going to advertise, what mediums you're going to use to advertise. But that was, again, a challenge for us. So what are we going to do for the future to make it more exciting and different for for individuals to be involved. We're going to be looking at having more targeted events, a bit like what we've already done, but one of the things that we were coming back, feedback was engaging with people in the workplace, so offering some financial capability interventions in the workplace. We've already done a pilot with our domestic staff, and we're hoping to roll that out further within the council. And it's really about money advice, budgeting, and seeing if there's any way we can maximise income. So that's something that we'll be rolling out a bit further. We'll also be participating in the Financial Inclusion Week, which is now called the Talk Money Week. Money Scotland Week, I think. So yeah, we'll be participating in that as well. And I think we also have in West Lothian is the West Lothian Advice Network, and it's a range of partners that come together to share resources and look at how we can apply for funding as a partnership, how we can do things better together. So we are speaking to them just now about what we can do during the Financial Capability Week. And I think what's coming back is a social media campaign, getting involved more in social media, as well as doing smaller events where people can attend. So that is something. And as we move forward, we will be getting ourselves involved in national weeks, such as the Mental Health Awareness Week, to see if there's anything else that we can do during that week to help promote financial capability as well. Now, I've talked about the Money Week fitting into our anti-poverty strategy. Our anti-poverty strategy has been running for 5 years now, and we are in the process of refreshing that. We're refreshing Money Week as well. And we will be officially launching the new refresh strategy, and that gives us an opportunity to re-engage with our partners, our community planning partners, and again discuss and recognise the priorities, the tackling poverty priorities within the refresh strategy, and how they can become more involved within the refresh strategy and the campaigns and Money Week that we'll be running. Some of the other things that we'll be doing for the future is pop-up advice events. So key times in the year having pop-up advice events in the community, so there is less travel for participants. So such as the run up to Christmas, towards the end of January, when people tend to get their Christmas bills through, and even in the summer to help families budget during summer holidays and access any support that may be available. We also have the Experts by Experience panel that we're recruiting for, and really that's a panel of community activists, really, or it can be anybody within the community that's got an interest in poverty or financial awareness or capability. So it's to allow the network and the council to continue to engage with our communities by recruiting people from local communities who have a lived experience of poverty, who'll provide the network, the council, partners, an insight and reference to help align our activity to issues that are important to that specific community. So we have about 6 or 7 people within that Experts by Experience panel that help us shape some of the work that we take forward. And that's it. Thank you.
That's you. Thank you very much. We're going to pass over. Diane is going to leave you now. So thank you very much for coming, Diane.
Thank you.
And I have some feedback for you that I will pass on later. We're going to hand over to Kenny. So Kenny, I'm going to open up your microphone now and make you presenter. I hope you're still with us.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you very much. So I know you have expert help there. Yes, we can see your screen as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, excellent. Yes, good morning, and thanks for having me along. I'm Kenny Bowie, the Senior Debt Advice Officer within Community Advice Services here at Falkirk Council. What I'm going to do is just talk to you about last year's Fairer Money Week that we held, and also our plans going forward for this year. Last year, myself, I was helped to organise the event that we held, and also was a participant in the event as well. But what I'll do is I'll just give you a wee bit of some background as how we got involved with Money Week in the first instance. So a fairer and more equal Falkirk was agreed in August 2017 as one of the outcomes of the Falkirk Council corporate plan for 2017 to 2022. The plan sets out the Council's vision for Falkirk and priorities against the backdrop of a shrinking public budget. The Strategic Outcomes and Local Delivery Plan, or SOLD for short, sets out in detail how the Council will meet this particular priority, and contained in the Fair Falkirk Poverty Strategy for 2011 to protecting our most vulnerable citizens, and to work with partners and communities to shape services and help find insight-driven solutions for the future. So how is the strategy built? Well, the strategy is built around 3 interconnected and mutually reinforcing work programmes, the first of which is Fairer Money. Now, this section is about people maximising their income, understanding how much money they get and the circumstances that they're in. Our view is that for many people, employment is not a route out of poverty, given rising numbers of in-work poverty. The goal of Fairer Money is not about getting people into employment, it's about rather helping people understand how much they can get in their circumstances that they're in, and how to make the most of the money they have to reduce the impact of poverty. The second theme is with regards to fairer access. So we want all our citizens to be able to access the opportunities they need to prosper and live fulfilling lives. Our initiatives will ensure that children in Falkirk have easy access to services that support their welfare, their well-being and development. Services will be designed around the needs of our citizens, and when someone asks us for help, we will be able to deliver as much advice and support as we possibly can. And one of the ways we'll do that is through our hub model, which I'll go on to talk about later. The third theme is fairer culture. We want Falkirk to become a zero stigma place, and we will support a culture of aspiration and innovation. The idea of fairer culture lends itself to a different way of thinking about service design and delivery, not being overburdensome on families, etc., like the cost of the school day, media and cultural perceptions, societal influences that may impact and cause or reinforce poverty. So, under the SOLD objective, Falkirk will be a fairer place to live. The Fairer Falkirk Partnership agreed to create a subgroup focusing solely on money. So within that group, it includes organisations such as the Fairer Falkirk team, my own section, Falkirk Council's Community Advice team, Home Energy Scotland, the Citizens Vice Bureau, so we have 3 of which are in this area, so we have Grangemouth, Denny and Falkirk, Conduit Scotland, and also the Falkirk District Credit Union. The group developed collaborative work around the financial inclusion agenda such as financial education and awareness, income maximisation, debt management and affordable credit. The organisations who were involved in Fairer Money Week were also invited to attend the first Fairer Money meeting, and Bill Palumbo from Grangemouth CAB is the chair for the partnership group. Fairer Money subgroup was established on the 16th of November during Falkirk's Fairer Money Week in 2017. Fairer Money Week 2017 was held in the East Advice and Support Hub, which is based in Grangemouth, and it was to raise awareness of the services that the hub provides. As I said, East Advice and Support Hub in Grangemouth opened on the 12th of December 2016, and it provides a range of face-to-face services to people who need it most, either because they're unable to access services in other ways, for example online, or because they may benefit from additional support. So what do we have in this hub? So within the hub and additional community outreach locations, one of which is in Bo'ness, advisors provide help with the following. So housing benefit, council tax reduction forms, local housing allowance, discretionary housing payments, Scottish Welfare Fund grants, money advice, debt advice, welfare benefits, bill arrears, council tax reduction and exemptions, housing options, and free school meals and clothing grants. Also within the hub we have specialist advisors, and they're available within the hub to provide further support on money and debt advice, welfare benefits, complex finance inquiries, housing options, and general housing issues. So a meeting was organised within the Council's Communication and Participation Unit, and this was to discuss the most effective communication methods with regards to promoting Fairer Money Week in 2017. This resulted in an article being published on Falkirk Council's webpage, also our local paper, which is the Falkirk Herald, and also our local radio station, Central FM, which goes out throughout the whole of Forth Valley. Email invitations were also sent out to internal and external gatekeepers, such as my own team, Community Advice Service, Children's Services, Revenues and Benefits, neighbourhood officers, finance, our call centre, and multi-skilled advisors. External gatekeepers included organisations such as the Salvation Army, Sirens, CBS, Falkirk Food Bank, 3 local citizen advice bureaus, and also the NHS. All gatekeepers who were involved were encouraged to publicise the week to colleagues and service users. Each organisations involved was advised to forward the promotional materials to the communication and participation design team to create graphics which would be displayed on the Grangemouth Hub screen. Twitter was also used to promote the different services involved in Fairer Money Week, with a total of 13,379 impressions made. Impressions are estimated amount of people who've seen Fairer Money tweets. So there is also anecdotal evidence that Fairer Money Week did raise awareness of the services offered in the hub, and also our entitlement calculator, with members of the public requesting money advice from our welfare and debt advisors who are based in the hub on a daily basis. Furthermore, there were 118 people accessed our entitlement calculator during Fairer Money Week, which again was held between the 13th and 17th of November, compared to 44 people the week before, the 6th and 10th of November. So what we've got here is the banner which community advice services use. So this is the banner that we will take to promotional events for welfare benefits and debt advice. And this banner was created prior to Financial Money Week, and this is the banner that we will use going forward. Okay. Now what we have here is a picture of our Grangemouth Community Advice Hub's reception area, with one of our receptionists there. Going forward, there will be 2 additional hubs created for the area, one of which will be in Denny, and the other one will be located in central Falkirk. And my understanding is all 3 will look similar to this and be of the kind of exact same standard. So the purpose of Fairer Money Week for ourselves was to bring people in to speak with trained advisors at the hub in Grangemouth, who can liaise with qualified advisors if required, and ensure that their income is maximised. It was also to ensure residents in the Falkirk area who are struggling with financial issues have access to appropriate face-to-face advisors who can give professional advice. Also to direct visitors to Falkirk Council's online entitlement calculator, which I've previously mentioned, which is a free online service that can give an estimate of what financial help may be available through welfare benefits. Also highlight not-for-profit reasonable lenders in Falkirk, for example Conduit Scotland. Also offer free impartial advice on energy saving, renewable energy, sustainable transport, waste prevention and more. So the learning, so what did we learn from having an event last year? So obviously this was the first time that we'd held such an event. What we can say, what we did feel that we learned from it was we did raise awareness of the services offered in the hub, and in particular our entitlement calculator, as a result of the article published by the Communication and Participation team. Citizens did present inquiring about welfare, debt and advice. So there was certainly an increase on members of the public requesting advice, particularly to do with welfare benefits and debt advice. So again, since the launch of the entitlement calculator in August 17, the calculator suggests that 1,953 people have carried out calculations in our area with predicted benefit gains of around 4.8 million. Again, what about the week? What did we learn? So, what sort of didn't go well? We thought during the week was that, again, a wee bit similar to something I think it was Diane had said previously, was timescale of planning the event. I think we'd left things certainly just maybe a little too late, but we didn't give ourselves enough time to plan for the event properly. Even though we didn't think, you know, numbers coming through the door was great. We did think that we definitely wanted to host something for the first time, and we wanted to ensure that we did deliver something. And I think we did that and reasonably well, and we certainly highlighted all the services available at the Grangemouth Hub and also the partners that we work with. So I think that certainly went well. But as I said, I think timing and for the event, we just didn't give ourselves enough time. So what are we planning to do for this year? Well, certainly I think we've given ourselves more time this year, and we've started making plans back at the beginning of April when our money group met, and we've come up with some various ideas. So this year what we do plan to do is make more of a success. And as we've started planning the event early, I think that will be the case. What we're planning to do is to hold a conference during the week, which will include a workshop with key stakeholders and draw down support from the Improvement Service to help facilitate a workshop with all the key stakeholders. So what we're looking to do is to plan an event, hopefully in a local town hall for a sort of kind of maximum of 100 people. Get along a couple of speakers to speak to the event, and then hold some workshops during the course of the day. So what we'll do is we'll develop an action plan to help us think through clearly what we wish to achieve this year, and who can commit to various actions. We'll then evaluate, once we've done that, we'll then evaluate the success of 2018's activity, and we'll compare that to 2017's. And obviously as the years go on, we'll look to build on that and hopefully continue it. So certainly that's where we're at the moment. But what I would say, you know, any advice to anybody who's looking to plan the event is give yourself some time, and from the outset have an idea of exactly what what it is that you're trying to promote and you're trying to get out of it, and what the message is. But try to involve as many of your local organisations as you possibly can, and get as many people as you can involved to make it as a success. So again, that's myself. So many thanks for asking me to come along and present this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kenny. That was great. I'm just going to take back the screen here at our end. So we're getting ready for the Q&A session now. And Kenny, I'm keeping you signed in. So if you have any questions for Kenny or for Sandra or Nahid or Johanna, or even for Diane, please feel free to type them now, and I'll pass them on to our panelists. We have a few questions already, but just before we get started, Sandra, what now? What happens now?
Oh, there's a lot of activity happening now, Christopher. I sent information out to a lot of our networks, but mainly as well the lead coordinators or chairs of the advice partnerships, advice networks, the financial inclusion partnerships that I'm aware of and have obviously been highlighting a lot of good practice around, to try to get this on the agenda early in the year. So that's been on the agenda at several meetings, you know, in April, May and early June, to start getting the thinking and the discussions going. Hence why maybe a lot of participants have joined today. And this is my first attempt as well, is at bringing in some of the good practice that's happening out there and sharing that with others to help us. There's a common theme, obviously, across everyone's presentations today, that planning and giving yourself that time is so important. So hopefully, you know, by people trying to look at that now, will give a good run, you know, for what people want to achieve. The next Scotland Financial Capability Steering Group will take place on the 31st of July, and that's when I'll get to hear, you know, from some of the other national umbrella organisations that are involved with the forum, and also how we'll be joining up and looking at the other range of events that will be happening during that week. As in, you know, previous years, there's always been a parliamentary event and a whole range of other activity going on. So please keep in touch on that. Happy to share any knowledge as we're going along.
Thank you very much. We did have a question very early about I can't speak anymore. It's quite warm here, so my tongue is swollen. I must think. Does West Lothian and Renfrewshire Council both have in-house money advice services? As council is taking the lead, and I'm wondering if this is this is the reason. In Fife, CARF or CARF is the sole money advice provider. So Nahid, do you have in-house money advice services?
Yeah, I can answer that for West Lothian. Yes, we do have in-house money advice service, but our Citizens Advice Bureau also deliver money advice, and they are part of the West Lothian Advice Network, and have been quite an active partner within Money Week and the events that we put on. So yeah, so the council do to take the lead with a lot of help from Citizens Advice as well.
Sandra, do you know if Renfrewshire have in-house money advice?
Yes, Renfrewshire have similar setup, that they do have in-house advice.
Kenny, I just muted you for a second because we have a little bit of feedback from your end. Do you have in-house money advice services?
Yes, we do. Falkirk Council has their own in-house debt advice and welfare benefits service. My team, the debt advice team, we have 5 full-time advisors and 3 part-time advisors. And also in the area, there are the 3, as I said, local advice bureaus based in Denny, Falkirk and Grangemouth. So yes, we do. Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. Another question for you, Kenny, and it's also for Diane, but sadly she had to leave. Do you have numbers available on the attendance or involvement of your events?
Certainly for last year's event, I think I don't have them to hand. We could have them. As I said, the numbers I think last year weren't as great as we would have liked. Certainly, going forward this year, I think with the event that we're planning to host, we would be expecting at least to have, you know, at least 100 attendees for this year's one. But last year, I don't have them to hand, I'm afraid, and it could be a wee bit difficult to gauge as well, because the event that we held last year, there were different organisations each day down at our local hub office. As I said, we didn't see as many people coming through the door. A lot of the people. Yep. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Kenny. You're breaking up a slight bit, but continue. I think you're back now.
Okay, yep, sorry. Yeah, as I was saying, I think it's slightly a bit different because we had different organisations attending the Grangemouth Hub last year on individual days. And a lot of people who were coming through the door were members of the public who were coming in for general assistance anyway. Certainly so. But if somebody's is requesting particular details on the numbers of people who engage with us, I can get that, but I don't have those figures to hand, I'm afraid.
Okay, we will try and get them from you and send them on to the people with the questions. Nahid, do you have numbers for yours?
Yeah, just to give you a flavour, so last year we had 319 adults attended the Money Week events. Now, the previous years, that was the least amount of people that attended. So the previous years, we were up at the high 400s.
Okay, thank you very much. We're almost up on time, so if you have any more questions, this is your last chance to send them through. But Sandra, do you have something you want to round up with here before we maybe take a last question or two?
Just really to thank everyone for participating today. There will be a case study for the work that Nahid's mentioned around the Money Week, and that does actually link to some of the performance reports and evaluation reports, and it gives the whole 7-year coverage of the Money Week events as well. And there's a lot of 5 years, and video materials on there as well, so that you can actually see, I think it was the cost of the school day event in action. So there's some footage there, and there will be a case study available for the Renfrewshire Advice partnership soon too. So certainly if anyone wants to get in touch with our project to know more information about anything, happy to do that also. And give any support going forward. But I'd just like to thank all the participants for listening and engaging today, and also for all the speakers. Thank you so much for everyone, and I'm looking forward to working with people going forward, and also being involved, as Kenny mentioned, with the work to support Falkirk partners in their planning for their conference event as well. That would be good.
Thank you very much. We are just up on the hour, so and there's no more questions coming through. We have a few comments. Thank you. It's very reassuring to hear so much good work being done in various local authorities came through here just now. We don't have any more questions, so we're going to end the webinar. Kenny, thank you very much for dialing in and taking your time to get the webinar. And thank you to Diane and Nahid and Sandra and Johanna for being here in the room with me. It's very warm here in Livingston, so we're feeling the heat. If you have any more comments or questions, feel free to contact Sandra and Johanna at the Improvement Service at the Improving Outcomes program. And I'm going to end the webinar for all, so I hope you have a great day. Thank you very much.